بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Today we're gonna learn 7 letters. Today's lesson is the longest lesson, so we're gonna have to pay a little more attention. A lot of letters. And the reason why I had to go with 7 is because there's an extra letter here that goes with the letter just before it, so I wanted to make sure I group it along with it. So let's go straight to the letters. Here we first notice that 2 of the letters have the big loops. We talked about letters that have those big loops. They are all heavy letters, right? So all these heavy, big loops letters are heavy, and those 2 are heavy. And this, along with a fath'a, so we're always assuming a fath'a accent on top, is gonna sound like ta as in talk. When you say talk, you know, it's a heavy. You're not saying ta anymore, right? So the light version of this letter is ta. And this is the heavy version. So ta is a letter that connects from the left. As we can see, there's no star indication here. You can see that it connects from the left. And the way that you write it is you start from this point here, you go around with the loop, and then you put the vertical part. That's really how you start. So if it's connected, you go straight, you loop around, and then you do the straight part. Okay? So this is the ta letter. Right after it, its twin sister. The only difference is the dot is dha, not found in English. It is, however, the heavy version of the, which we already learned, and the, for those of you who might have forgotten, sounds like in English the, right? The, except that it has the sound as a, as in apple. So when you say the house, that, right? The heavy version of that is va. You have to make a oval with your mouth and make sure that it's coming out with a sound that is similar to ta, va, va, okay? So these are letters that are still okay for us to pronounce. The next letter is one of those letters, the 3 letters that I mentioned before that are very difficult to pronounce for non-Arabs, because it is a letter that you probably have never pronounced ever in your life. And so you're gonna probably fail for the first couple of years at saying it. I mean, no, some of you are gonna be good at it right away, but usually it takes a lot of practice because, you know, it requires the use of muscles that you've never used all those years of your life. So this letter is pronounced as, assuming there's a fath'a on it, ah, ah. It's, you have to be careful. It's not a, even though it's very close to where a comes from. We're gonna look at that picture, the diagram that we look at where, you know, the letters come from, so we know exactly where that letter is coming from. But notice that that letter changes form in the middle and at the end. It looks very different than when it's at the beginning and at the end than when it's in the middle, right? And by itself. So this is a very interesting letter, and you, unlike everything else, usually we have the head and we keep using the same shape throughout. Here, it changes, and the way we write it is, you know, always try it from right to left, top to bottom. So if I'm starting here, I'll do it this way. But in the middle, I would come here and I'll just go and make like an inverted triangle. Same thing here. To simplify it, we'll make a triangle with a tail. But when it's all by itself, we see the head back again with a tail, okay? And you have to pay attention because a lot of people, when they read the Quran, they make the mistake when they see the Hamza letter that we talked about before, right? The Hamza letter, which sometimes is above A. If they see the Hamza letter by itself, they say Ah. It's incorrect. Why? Because A is a letter that connects from the left, whereas the Hamza does not connect from the left. So this is how we know the difference. This is A. Hopefully one day we're going to have a session where I can listen to you, so we'll make sure you're pronouncing it correctly, but that's the best we can do for now. We're going to move on to the next letter. Again, it's twin, has a dot on top. It's not found in English, but I can explain to you how to do it. It's like gargling. When you gargle, imagine you're putting water, or at the end after you brush your teeth or something, you put mouthwash. Sometimes you gargle, right? So if you put and you do, oh, right? So that's exactly the sound, oh, and it's a heavy letter, oh, oh, okay, oh. If you're French also, if you speak French, you know that this is probably how they pronounce the R letter, except that it has to be heavy as well. Oh, this is this letter. Next, we have fa. With a fath'a, it sounds like fa as in fat. So this is fa. This is our first circular letter. It has a small circle with a dot. It also connects from the left. Notice these two letters, they are circular and they connect from both sides, right? Unlike the one that we talked about, the special ta form, we said there's a special ta form that looks like a circle with two dots. And if you see it by itself, not connecting from either side, that means this is actually a ta when you pronounce it, okay? So this is how we tell the difference. These ones connect from both sides. This is fa. This is a heavy letter, sounds like ka as in cup, ka, ka. It's actually a little heavier than even cup. Cup in English comes out a little above your your tonsils. As for in Arabic, the ka is literally in the middle of them, so it's a little heavier than how cup sounds. Okay, but at least you'll be in the ballpark. So this is ka. And finally, the letter that I added is the light version of ka. It's ka. Okay, ka as in cat. So this letter right here is the light version of this letter. Okay. Okay, so a lot of letters. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes to look at these letters and try to memorize them, review them in your head. And after a couple of minutes, I'll come back and we'll go from there. Okay, let's do the small exercise right after that. Let's try to circle and pronounce loudly the letters that you know, all the letters that we know until now. Today we learned this. This is ta, ta. This is ba, and this is the most difficult letter probably, ah, ah. This is the last letter we learned right here. You can see it. Ka. And ka, by the way, also I failed to mention that it looks different, totally different in different positions, okay? And by the way, this is not a hamza, so be careful. Don't think this is a hamza. If you look very closely to it, it's not a hamza, the symbol that we learned with the alif. So when you see this form like this, and above it, this symbol, this is a ka, okay? Let's get back to here. This is ta, ba, va. Straight line by itself, connected. We haven't learned that yet. And this form, almost a circle, we didn't learn yet. This we did. It's the gargling letter. It's heavy. Ra. Ra. This is fa. And this is ra. This is qa. Ta. And this we haven't learned yet. See, you have to be careful. This letter looks very similar to this one, right? But without this, so it's not the same. Okay, let's look at our picture and see where these letters are coming from to make sure we're pronouncing them correctly. We'll start with ta. Ta. Ta is not at the tip of our tongue, close to it, right? Ta. It's when our tongue touches the top palate. Ta. Ta. And our mouth should be making some sort of like we said, a circle, oval. So the sound is heavy. Ta. Va. Va. Let me go back to that first, and then I'll go to va. That, when you say it, if you can see me now, unfortunately, when we do the video, well, actually, you know what, if I stop sharing for a second, probably my video will show up. Okay, so when I do that, my tongue is out between my teeth, and I smile. It's a light letter, so that. It's a light letter, I smile, and my tongue is between my teeth. So I say the, okay? As for va, my tongue is from the inside of my upper teeth. It doesn't go between my teeth. It's va. It's on the upper teeth from the inside, and my mouth is still oval or circular shape. Va. Okay? It's not va. I don't put my tongue out. It's inside the upper teeth. So this is how we pronounce the va. Okay? And then we have a. See where a is a lower than a, but a is for the men is almost where your the apple, Adam's apple is, right? You have to really move those muscles, but it's not two different tones. Sometimes people start saying as if it's two sounds. No, it's one sound, and it's hard, it's tough to make, but you know, with practice, inshallah. Ra and kha are close, but ra is softer, and it comes with gargling. Ra. Oh, okay. Fa is easy. Fa. Fa is right at your lips. Fa. And qa. Qa is right at the back of qa. Qa. Right at your tonsils, really. Qa. Qa. And ka is above it. Ka. Okay. Let's go to some reading from the Quran. And I selected Surah Al-Shura today. And we'll go from there. So we're gonna go from right to left. As usual, we're assuming there's a fath'a on all these letters, okay? A fath'a, 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 right? So for those of you already, or for those of you visiting for the first time, it's not that I'm teaching you the wrong pronunciation, right? We're assuming always there's a fath'a, and then later on we're gonna learn how to pronounce the letter with a different sound. We know every letter can be pronounced as this letter, for example, ha, hi, and hu, and h. It has 4 different sounds, but for now we're making sure we can recognize the form of the letter, so we know that this is ha. Yeah, I know this letter. And then later on we'll focus on, okay, I found the form, I know which letter it is, let me look on top and below and figure out, is it ha or he or hu or h? Okay. Going from right to left, this is ha. This letter, forget about this symbol, assuming there's a fath'a, this letter is ah. This is sa. This is qa. Ka. Tha. Ka. Ha. Assuming there's a fatha on top of this is a. Ka. A. See how it's always, the hamza is always not connected from both sides. So don't think this and this are the same, right? This is always connected. This is never connected. This letter is the, qa, ba, and ka. So I'll let you, inshallah, practice. Hopefully you can read also, as usual, a page of the Quran. Stop at every letter. This is how you should do it, right? Read from right to left. Stop at every letter. If you know it, pronounce it loudly and then keep going. If you doubt if you're right or you forgot about it, go back to the video or to the lessons and make sure you pronounce it correct. But that's how you should go, letter by letter. If you know it, pronounce it loudly and keep going. And also, if you can do the tables that we usually do, so make sure you do that so that we don't have to do it in the next class, inshallah. We'll move on to other stuff. So just do the, you know, the usual, the beginning, middle, and the end, those things for all the letters that we learned today. If you can do that for all the letters, each letter, since we have 7 of them, I'll give you a break. Just make 3 of them for each letter. Okay? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك